Right, I'm pretty sure I'm live, guys, and I'm hoping you can hear me. I'm hoping it's not too loud. Actually, let's turn it down a bit. Let me know if the volume's okay. Oh, okay, right. Oh, I thought I forgot my coffee then, but no, I have it. Okay, I'm just trying to get a reference because today's one's going to be slightly different. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. So if you can or can't, I'm hoping you'll let me know. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Dan. Let's type in the comments just in case. It's really weird as well because I'm talking really weird knowing that the microphone is the one on my ear rather than the standard one, but I don't know whether the quality is like sounds bad. Quiet. You can probably tell by this that I'm really tired. A little echo. I don't think that's going to make any difference, but a little echo. Is that any better? Hang on. What about now? This echo, I'll swap back to the microphone, which is under here, so I'm going to have to disappear. If I can get under. Okay, I've swapped it over. Can you hear me now? Apart from my phone not being on silent. That might be a bit better for you. Hi Evie, hi Rob, hi Linda. Hi Ben. Is this better? I was just trying to see. It's probably picking up both now. That's better. Okay. I was trying to see if my earbuds were any better for volume. But apparently not. So we'll stick to the microphone. Oh my god. Oh, what's going on? Okay, so basically, the plan for today, because okay, very quick backstory. I'm not going to bore the hell out of you anyway, because kids back to school. So the first thing they do, instead of bringing home some love and hugs, is they bring home a sodding cold. So Amelie was off for 2 days with a bad cold. Then Madison, sort of, because one's off, the other one begs to be off. So we had that issue. And anyway, you know what my sleeping's like. So Amelie wanted me to stay with her today after she got home from school. But that was up in the bedroom. She had a game on up in the bedroom. Anyway, guess who fell asleep on the bed? Oh, and I woke up at 6:30. So I'm like completely and utterly out of it, if I'm honest. So I was trying to have a bit of a good think about, instead of just sitting watching me draw as such, something that might be a bit more practical. I'm trying to do photography at the moment. Turns out I'm terrible at it. Photography can be tricky, but once you know the basics, you'll be absolutely fine. So the plan is over the next probably two, I imagine it will take us live feeds, 2 or 3, because I might not start the actual process today. But I've got some new graphite pencils with a brand I have never used before, Stabilo. And I want to give these bad boys a bit of a full test. I have done a very basic, quick try with them to see what they're like, but I want to really run them through the mill. So I thought I'd use this as a bit of an opportunity. So if you fell, yeah, I may just fall asleep. Hence why I have my coffee ready. Not photography, meant pyrography. Oh wait, why are you bad at that? I bet you're not. So I want to show you from the very, very start, because a lot of the tutorials that I've ever done have only ever really started from me already having the lines down on the paper. So I thought it might be good for you guys to see a couple of ways that you can get your line work down, and the types of details that I personally pick out for the line work to then help me when it comes to the rendering stage. Hopefully some of you guys will find this useful. I apologize if this is old news for some of you, but I am getting a lot of new followers and subscribers since doing the Spectrum Noir Crafters Companion TV show. So this method will help anybody. So it doesn't matter whether you're a complete beginner or totally advanced. It really is to show you what you can do, how you can do it to get the best sort of line work down. I know that sounds stupid, but if you get the wrong thing down, it can completely, when you render it up, it completely makes the image not quite right. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've got my iPad in front of me here, and I've gone to Pexels. The link is in the description, but I'm going to put it in the comments now. This is the link to the image that I'm using today, because it had a good one light source. It's got the hair, which I know a lot of people struggle with. We've got texture on the face with freckles and things like that. So I thought these were all things that over the next couple of live feeds you could learn from as well. If you don't have access to be able to do this and you want a copy of the line work, come into the group. If you're not in the group, message me on Instagram, but I will put the line work in my folder on my Facebook page. Then that way you can download the artwork directly without or the line work without you having to do it all. Could you explain how to trace the eyes especially? Yeah, I'll go through each stage for you. So I'm going to put on my little guide glove because it stops obviously my palm affecting things. So I'm just going to open it up in, and I'm using Procreate. You can use Photoshop, you can even use Illustrator, to be honest. It sort of is, Ben. It's just more of a guide as such. But now it's going to be up once the live has finished. Then you know you've got access to come back and look at it again. But if you want to join it in as a tutorial, I will do this over the next 2 live feeds on here as a tutorial for you. So I've already downloaded, so I just need to open in Procreate. All I do is pick A4 print. Oh, hang on. Come on, you. Let's try that again, shall we? So you add your photo or file. It should be in file. Oh, maybe I haven't downloaded it. I have downloaded it. there she is. Okay. So, she's already in. Hi, Gary. You right? You can see my setup for my camera above it at the minute. Right, I need both windows open. Okay. Please throw out any questions you have throughout this happening. So if you want me to stop and do something again, the joy of it being digital is I can show you. So the joy of doing it on something like Procreate or Photoshop for starters is that if you know that your canvas is going to be, in fact, if I make it a bit bigger for you, if you know that your canvas is going to be A4, you can then look at your image and say, right, okay, well, maybe I want to do something a bit arty-farty, and I can maybe have her off to the side. So you know that that's the side of the image you need against the whole canvas. So it really does help you sort of judge sizes, whereas if you're doing a standard trace from a print, in fact, I'll get it to print while I'm yabbering on about it, because I want a print version for the second stage as well. This is from Pexels, by the way, which is majority of the pictures are for commercial use, so you don't have to worry about getting any permissions for doing any work on it. Right, I'm just going to print, and this sounds stupid, but if you're going to print, it doesn't even matter if it's a colour photograph, print in black and white, because you don't need, you know, if you can't do line work like this and you're having to print the actual photo. So I'm going to show you after this method how to do it from the actual photo itself. So I'm going to get that printed already, and I'm literally just going to go in, change over the printer setting. At the minute I was using my expensive printer. I'm going to swap it to black and white, and I'm just going to put it on like the lowest quality. It really doesn't need to be anything exceptional. You need to just have your basics there. Well, I've come off the live, so I haven't seen any comments. Right, it's printing now. Just joined on my phone. Hi, Emily. Okay, so that's printing away. So I'm going to, on mine, OBS, where did you disappear to? Okay. I'm going to have her a decent size, but I'm going to have her coming off to this side, because the cut off of the hair means that if I have her on this side, I can actually blend the bottom of the shirt out. So when you're thinking about doing portraits in the future and you're thinking about where it needs to sit on the paper, that's the type of thing you need to think about. My printer is completely printing drunk by the looks of it. So really consider where you're going to place it on your paper. So if you're going to have a little border, I'm just going to, you know, have a look at it there, and I can blend out the bottom of the shirt. All of the portion of the hair is pretty much showing on this side, so I don't have to worry about trying to fill anything in or there being a sudden stop. If I did it this side, all this hair here would look really, really weird, because it would suddenly cut off. And I know that sounds an obvious thing, but sometimes you don't always think about that when you're starting out. So that's just something to bear in mind. So I'm going to have mine there, and I'm probably going to have it roughly that size, because I'd like to have a bit of, like, you know, that graphite powdery stuff that you could put on around the outside. My printer misses lines. I've cleaned it so much. Mine does when I do it on the cheap. In fact, let me go and get the print so I can show you. And it's printed it drunk, so 2 for 1 there. So there's mine, and you can see all the lines that run through it. So that doesn't matter, because all this is a guide. Ideally, you should be working from your reference, not from your printout. Ideally, you need to be working from your reference on a screen. So this is purely for your line work. So I'm going to show you how to do it from this after I've shown you this way. So let's zoom you in. Get you a bit in focus. Here we go. So all I'm going to do is bring the opacity of this layer down. Don't need it down very far. That'll do. Got it on 81% there. And then I'm going to lock that layer, and then I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to pick up a red colour, and that is because it stands out against the background that you're doing. Okay, it still shouldn't matter, Daniel, hopefully. Just check, I guess, that it's not missing vital information. Hopefully when I show you on that version, it will give you a bit of an idea. So at this point, it doesn't matter where you start your line work from. So I'm going to, I can't tell if that's a spot on my monitor, a spot on my camera, or a spot on the foot. No, it is. It's on my iPad. Okay, so, and so you can do this in Photoshop, anything like that. So all you're going to do is literally start tracing the rough lines. And I really do mean rough. We don't have to go extensive on this. I might make it a little bit bigger. And all I'm going to do, first of all, is concentrate on the outline area. Let's bring you out of it. Like so. So there's a curl bit here, and all I'm going to do is just do a curl. That's it. And then one there. I'm not going to bother with all these tiny fine lines here. It's no point. I'm just using the monoline brush at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's on the monoline. No, it's on a hard air brush. Monoline. Okay, so that's pretty much as loose with my details as I tend to be. Then when it comes to where your highlights and your shadows are, you can just simply make a rough shape of what they look like. I tend to do this more in my highlights than I do in my shadows, because I know that the spaces in between are where the shadows are. And you'll see I'm just drawing really basic shapes. I'm not tracing exactly where every single bit of detail is. This is part of the reason why in my head, and you know, it's just not, it's, you know, a lot of people call it cheating, but it just isn't. It's just a tool. So you'll see that actually when I take it away, that it just looks a mess. So this really is just 10% of your drawing, not even that. So we've got a big highlight there, we've got a big highlight there. And then all I'm going to do is do direction down here, because it's so messy down here that I would be spending hours and hours going through every single hair like that. And I don't have the patience and I don't have the time. So I will show you how we'll tackle that when we come to do the hair, when we're on that section of the tutorial. So there's a shape there that's really defined. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to put that in. And I'm probably going to put that bit in there and that bit. And there, to be honest, I'll probably leave the hair like that. So if I take the picture away, that's what your line work looks like. If anybody tells that you're cheating because you're tracing, tell me, if I give that to somebody else, that they're going to make sense of that. They're not going to. So yeah, it just looks like a random mess, really. So let's do the eye, and I'm going to zoom in as far as I can so you can see that fairly well, can't you? And we're just pretty much going to do the same thing. So Rob, for you, hopefully you can see that quite well. I'm hoping my hand doesn't get in the way. So let's just start with blocking out the eyebrow. I'm going to reduce that down a bit. And that is literally the only shape I'm going to draw for the eyebrow. I'm not going to be fussy with it all. We've got a main line here. We've got a line in here. And then we've got our main shape. So I'm just going to grab the main shape. And you'll see each section like that. If you want to work in it thinner, that's fine, but by the time you've zoomed out, your lines are going to be pretty thin, and it's no different to using a biro in that sense. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that highlight's blocked out, that highlight is blocked out, and that's all I'm going to do with regards to the highlight there. I'm going to mark where the iris is. I'm going to mark where the pupil is, and I'm not even going to bother with the highlight because visually you should be taking note of that when you're drawing. So you shouldn't need to draw simple things like that small highlight in the pupil. That should automatically happen when you're drawing. And then all I'm going to do is make sure that that highlight there is marked in. When it comes to the eyelashes, if there's any prominent ones, I'll put them in. So like the shape, for example, and I will pretty much just lead the biggest, most prominent, I've said that already, ones there. And that is all I will do for the eye. We're being rude already. So again, if I zoom out and then I take that photo away, that's all you're looking at. Don't overcomplicate things. Because once you start overcomplicating it, see, I could really go in and I've got, oh, there's the shadow there, and there's a shadow there, and there's a bit there, and a bit there, and a bit there, and there's a little bit in there, and then I'll come out, and then I'll take that away, and then I'll be like, well, what have I done? So, you know, don't worry about being really fussy. So, by the way, you might be able to hear my washing machine. Amelie did Forest Club today, so she's absolutely caked in mud when she got home. It is good, isn't it? I guarantee I could get a few million quid for that. Oh, I've done that so many times, Evie. I have done that many a time. So all I'm going to do is mark the bottom of the nose, block in where that piece of shadow is here for the nostril, nose even. I'm going to mark the nostril there. And in here, that's pretty much all I'm going to do there. I might do that a bit. I'm not going to bother with the freckles because I will just add that as I draw it. I'm not going to be dead precise to where each freckle is. You don't need to be, not on this anyway. And then the mouth. So we've got a top lip, or the over lip, the bit that people tend to draw their lipstick to, and then we've got the actual Cupid's bow bit. What you need to do here is make sure that you get where the mouth actually stops. And I know that sounds really stupid, but if you only draw to where the shadow stops, then it makes the mouth too short. Mouths are actually wider than we think they are. They don't end directly at the edge of our nose. They come out from the edge of our nose, so they need to be slightly longer. So I will mark in where that ridge at this edge stops, and then I know that's exactly where the edge of the mouth is. And again, I'll just do the bottom, and then let's do the teeth. You'll notice I'm not marking where any highlights are. This should be something you do when you're drawing. I think I could probably be doing with a bit being there. I can't talk. A bit lower. There. Okay. So that's the mouth done. Don't forget this bit here. And just draw from where the shadow ends. So can you see I've drawn from where the shadow ends? So if I undo that. So the main heaviest part of the shadow stops here. It might be a bit difficult to see on my phone, but and then it starts here. You think pyrography is the most... Yeah, but once you get the hang of it... Honestly, I don't think it will take you that long. Right, what I am going to include is this mole, because it is a prominent feature and I don't want to forget it. So I am going to include that. So let's carry on. We've got the ear. You see the ear? So we've got the earring. And we've got the ear. And that is the only shape really that you can see. I'm going to alter the shape of this bit on the face, just so we can get it a bit more precise. And follow that round. Right, she's got quite prominent mole there, so I've just included that one. Oh, I've lost it. Bring it back. Okay, so let's bring that round. We've got a main line here. And I'm going to pick up this shadow and this shadow, and that's all I'm going to pick up. And then we're just going to draw where that shirt is. We've got a main shadow here, and then we've got one here. Probably I'll draw that one in too. If you want to, when you're starting out, you can probably see, let me see if I can darken this up for you. Any more? You can probably see like a shadow section there, and you can see one there. When you're starting out, if you want to draw those in, it's not a problem to draw those sections in. When you've been doing it for a little while, I wouldn't worry too much, because you should be observing this when you're looking at your reference. These are the bits that you should be picking up. So I'm just going to finish the shirt, just get the main folds down. I'm not going to worry about where the lights and darks are, just where the folds are. And then I'll smudge all that out anyway. So that is pretty much, just check everywhere else, the line work done. So that's what she looks like when you've done the line work. So I'm going to print that quickly. Get that sent off to the Mac. Right, that's been sent. Open that. Okay, let's print that. Again, you don't need to print it in colour. Black and white is absolutely fine. Black and white, and let's print that out. Hopefully it's going to print. It's gone dark over there. Aha, it is. Right, I'm going to go grab that quickly. And that's what that looks like printed. So it should pretty much be the pad done with. There's some random gunk down the side. That's nice. Okay, so there are two ways from here that you can get your line work down. So let's use, have I not got an A4 around? Haha. Could have done with that bit of paper earlier. Right. Actually, there's 3 ways you can get it down. If you have carbon paper, I don't know whether I've got any to hand actually. See, I think I'm all, oh, hang on. I've got something to show you very quickly actually. And then I need to find the carbon paper. Everything, I swear, has just gone walkabout. Carbon paper anywhere? Nope. Haha. Right. Carbon paper. It's really annoying. Hate it. Don't like using it. But I'll use it for today's purposes to show you. The stuff I have isn't particularly great. So I think if you're going to look at buying any, try and make sure you get artist grade stuff, because I don't know what this is. Really old actually. But basically it's impossible to erase. So that's why I don't like using it. So I think that this is the paper you're going to be working on. Can you see enough? Is that bright enough? By the way, oh, has it turned up today? I take it you mean that? In one piece? I hope it did. So there's a dull side and then there's the side with the graphite on. So all you're going to do is lay that over your sheet of paper. Don't smudge it. It will ruin your paper if you smudge it too much. Then you would, if you have your line work, are you happy with the frame? Please tell me you're happy with the frame. I'm trying to think. Personally, I would recommend using a biro, and the reason is if you use a pencil that is too hard, you actually damage your paper underneath, and you'll cause indentation involuntarily. So I tend to find biros are very good, or a softer pencil, but you want it to. I'll just use pencil. You want it to be hard enough that you can get the details through. So let me just find a H, 2H. Okay, so let's just go with this section here. I'll just draw the really basic lines. So I'm literally just tracing over the lines I've put down. I'm going to see if I can show you a sample, so if I end up pushing too hard. So it gets everywhere if you end up pushing too hard, but you can see how easy it's got your lines down. Now I'm going to have a go because I seem to have been given a miracle eraser and it works really well. So I'm going to see if this gets rid of it. No. So this is my Tombow. My new polychromos came at the minute. Yay! They're good, aren't they? So if I try and erase over the top, look how bad that is for getting rid of. It's really hard. Now when you work in graphite, it's not too much of a problem. But when you have like parts of the shirt and there's no harsh edge, then it's going to look problematic because you're not going to be able to get rid of it. So personally I would avoid it, and I didn't. Look, I forgot to show you. Interlude. If you want a bit of advertising now, if you want to journal. Look at the size of this bad boy. I didn't realise it was this big. My books, 2 books, are now on Amazon. How cool is that? Look at that. Look how much paper you've got in there to write on. So that's my Get Done book. And that's one for my fellow spoonies. So I just thought I'd throw that in while I spotted them. But yeah, they're really nice books actually. It sounds horrible, but I wasn't expecting them to be that good quality. Anyway, so if I use my old preferred method, it is exactly what Dan's just said. It is making your own graphite paper, and let me guess, I've gone and lost the tool that I need to show you. Oh, damn it. Have I got another one? Yes, I have. It's not my favourite, but... So that is a woodless piece of graphite. I use it to sharpen my sharpeners, as you can tell by the lethal weapon. But it's completely woodless, so the whole thing is graphite, and it's a lot cheaper than using your decent pencils to do this to you. They are on Amazon. If you Google, if you search for Bonita Doodles on Amazon, all my details come up. So, if we're working from this, you can just about see it. I would literally hold it up to some light and very lightly just go, right, okay, that's where my image is, because I don't want to cover the whole page because I just haven't got the patience to do it. And all I would do is graphite over the main areas. So over the nose, over the mouth, around the edge of her neck and face. And then I would do all of her hair. So I would just cover that whole thing in graphite. So it looks a complete mess. I did really want to do my own, and I have made my own, but it took me the entire day to make my own. And I was going to offer them, but I don't know if I can at the moment. So this is the one that I've made for myself that originally I was going to offer in my Etsy store. And that's the one I've made for myself. And it's got a load of list things in there. Oh my god, sorry. Really? What's the point of a silent button? I even made my own square paper, lined paper and list paper. Anyway, it took the entire day to get this done. I then made an A5 notepad, glued and bound it myself so it works like a proper notepad. And then I made, where are they? Here. How cute are they? Little notelets. But again, they took me, and I put them on pretty paper just to make each one a little bit more nicer. And again, bound it and sealed it and everything myself. But I had thought about doing maybe just literally having 10 spots a month available and having them on pre-order, because they are actually really good quality and they're really nice. But I don't know if anybody would be willing to pay the price for something that's all handmade, so that's why I haven't yet. So anyway, you get this random looking thing on the back of your paper. Again, you would get your piece of paper that you're working on. My top tip, I don't know if Leslie will remember this. 2 bits of blue tack, one on either or opposite corners. So when you turn and you then put your bit of paper down, you've got a bit of blue tack up here and a bit of blue tack down here. Blue tack it onto the paper you're working, because you don't want this to move and you don't want your paper underneath to move. So grab your pencil and then you would trace over. Let's hide that in the drawer, shall we? Trace over what you're doing. I'm just going to do it very roughly so I can lift it. So if you're going, right, okay, I've done it, but I'm not sure if I'm happy, you can lift one corner and have a look and see if you're happy with what you've done without the whole piece of paper moving. So that way you're not having to try and lay it back down. But if you do that on this half, you can check if you've done down here. So if I do the mouth, just there, you can lift that corner and then you can have a look to see if it's worked. So that's why I recommend you use 2 bits of blue tack, one in opposite corners. And that is how you would trace down from your photo, and you would take very similar details down to what I've shown you in the digital line work. So if there's a patch of highlight here, I'll block that in. I'll block the nostril sections in. I'll just, you know, the shadows. So it's just pretty much doing it the same as I have done digital, except for I've done it in pencil. Don't ever throw the line work away, because if you can't make sense of what you've put down, you can reference from your line work to your images as well. So you'll see how much lighter that line work is. So that's why it's important to protect your paper when you're working. But it means that you can rub out the work without having anything left over, which means that when any major light areas, you can erase those lines and get really, really nice smooth blending. I certainly can, my lovely. 2 seconds. Oh, no, you're right. It does come, or doesn't come up. Hang on. I think there's a link in the group already. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a link in the group. I'll have to go back and go and find it, but there is one in there. Annoyingly, I don't know why it's not coming up if you search, because it should actually come up as a seller, because my colouring book is still on there, so I don't understand why. Oh, hang on, maybe if I put in Benita and Moby, my name. Put in my name, Benita Moby, it comes up. All 4 books come up on the first search. So you should, I don't know if you can see in the little mini section, but if you put in the name, it's probably backwards, which is annoying, but hey ho. You should be able to see it. Well, I was thinking 25 quid for the handmade journals, the handmade notebook or notes, and then the notelet. So all free for 25 quid plus a free print of the cover as well. So I don't know. Okay, so you can do the same method with your line work. So you'd get your pencil. You don't have to use woodless. It just, I find it cheaper than using my really, really nice pencils, or you can just get some cheap pencils. But I recommend doing it in a 2B or a 4B if possible. Anything lighter, which this one is, which is why it's annoying me that I can't find my other one, is it makes it harder to see the lines as you're drawing through. Honestly, my desk is just chaos at the minute, so I don't know where that's gone. So again, you would just go over and then trace from the lines onto the paper that you're working from. So the other way that I like to do it, when I'm using this, is this. And that is my light board. Is that the right cable? Yeah. I'm hoping I don't lose camera. I might lose camera if I plug this in. I still need to get that book with tutorials. Oh, what? They're how to draw birds. Okay. These are about 30 quid on Amazon. If you go to the link in my description, it will be in my recommended section. And there's light boxes, or light, they are called light boxes, but light board. And again, I would just get my blue tack. Doesn't matter where you put it this time, really. Just don't have it so it's really bulky. And then the bit of paper that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to turn this on because I want to know where I can set the paper to my artwork. And I said that I wanted this side, down this side of the paper. So I'm going to leave a little bit of a border that I can tape off. And a little bit of a border at the bottom. And I'm just going to push the blue tack down. And then I can easily trace over the image that I've got. I'm going to do this in a 2B pencil. And I'll do this very quickly. Don't put loads of pressure down. Keep your pressure light, because if you put too much pressure down, in fact I might even use a H. It's the one thing I found so far with these pencils is they're a lot softer than the 9000s. Sounds like the kids are having a party upstairs. So we just retrace over all the details. Rob, did the tracing of the eye help at all, or is there anything specific you would like me to cover? What should I use? Yeah, window. Definitely. Use a window in daylight. That's what I make all my students do when I do the teaching classes. I've literally got a picture of 12 people all rowed along, because actually the hall that we were in at the time had floor to ceiling doors and windows, and you've literally just got 12 people all there drawing on the window. It's quite funny. So you don't want to go light enough that you're not indenting your paper inadvertently, because it's really easy to do that. But you don't want it too light that you can't see it once you turn the light board off. All I would say, guys, is get yourself, don't scrimp too much on light boards if you do get yourself one, because the one I had before this I paid bottom dollar for, and it didn't last very long, and it was overheating at the connection point here, and it was actually expanding the connection point, so it would lose connection completely. So it's the pupils, they look in different directions. That is, if you're doing the trace down, it is more than likely an issue with your shading rather than your trace down. So it could be that you just got the highlight in the wrong place, because the highlight can make a huge difference as to what direction they look like they're looking in. But we can work on that when we come to do the actual shading. Yeah, that should work, Evie. Yeah, you'll be drawing in some spots and lines that shouldn't be there. Dirty windows. A few years back, we had to give our windows a good clean, because a wood pigeon decided, I don't know if it got dazed or hit out the sky, because we do have family of buzzards here. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I literally had this imprint of this bird's chest, its feet and its feathers on my window, where it had slammed into the window so hard all the feather dust literally just planted itself on my window. The noise it made. I think you're right, Bon. Well, if you're going to be about in the next couple of live feeds, Rob, as I say, we're going to be doing this as a tutorial, so you don't necessarily have to be drawing along while I'm working, but, you know, it's going to be there if you want to look back on it. On my TikTok lives, I will be working on the giraffe. I'm losing my voice now. And then I've got a little cat commission, which is all drawn out, ready to go. So that's how small that is. That's a lot neater than doing it by AR. By AR? What, you mean on the phone thing? It doesn't matter how precise you get these lines down. If you shade them wrongly, that is where it goes wrong. So your line work, as I say, is 10% of your work. Tell you what, Rob, we're not too bad for time today. We can start on the eye today if you want. As I say, I'm not used to using these pencils. They are very unfamiliar to me. They are a lot softer than what I'm used to. So it'll be a bit of a learning curve at the same time. By the way, I have, for you guys, I am going to put it in the video when I edit, which I was supposed to do today, but I couldn't. I have a discount code for you on the Stabilo website. If you buy anything from the Stabilo website, for the online, yeah. Right, I'm going to give you the link in a minute. Let me give you the code first. So if you buy anything Stabilo, then you can get, using that code, you can get 10% off. I think it's 10%, yeah, and it's this website. So I need to put all this in the video at some point. Bye, Ben. And that's the link to use, so you get some money off. Do hope that I get on with these pencils. I'm really nervous about using them, but first time for everything, eh? Okay, so when we turn the light box off, you can see the line work that I've just put down. It's working. Oh, Brill, well done. Good thinking there. Okay, so that is the line work done. So I can put my light box away, or my light board away. Cables everywhere. Here we go. Now I have asked my contact at Stabilo what this means, because I've never seen it before. There's a link in the description, my darling, but let me link you again. Hang on. Where'd you go? There. The photo is called Dreamy-woman-looking-away-sensually. Oh dear, I wouldn't have said she's looking away sensually whatsoever, but you know. Love my light board. They're fantastic, aren't they? They're really, really good. So the reference photo can be found in the link that I've just put in the comments for you. So as I say, I am new to this. I didn't even know they did graphite pencils, but I know that their Arty collection is new. So I don't know how new this particular product is. I don't think it's that new. It's just that I've never used them before. So they are Othello and 282. But what's confusing me, and I can't believe I even had to ask this, right? Okay, so we all know 2B, right? We all know that. That's generally what we see when we look at pencils. But apparently this is 1.5. I have no idea what the 1.5 stands for. No idea whatsoever. So I've asked him for clarification. He was like, oh, with a 2B, 4B, and I was like, not what I meant. I've asked him what this number means. So I'm waiting for some information back, because F is F. You don't get F1, F3, F4, F5 or whatever. You know, that actually says minus F equals 3. Well, I don't know what the 3 means. That's all new to me. And again, we've got H. H is H. There isn't H point anything. There is just H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. You know, it just goes up. And then they've got 3.5. So I'm really confused. So we'll see. So, as I say, you're learning along with me here, I'm afraid. Let's use a scrap of paper just to put under my hand. I have got my Tombow pencil erasers. I've got a small blending stubby. I'm using the Strathmore Bristol Board 300 Smooth. Well, originally I thought that, but they all vary. The numbers all vary. And they're all the same size pencils. So, yeah, that did cross my mind. Maybe it was the size, but no, they're all the same size. I didn't know whether maybe it was the grade. So it's 3.5. But then that doesn't make sense to have 3 and then 1.5. So I was a bit confused. So if anybody knows that's watching this later on, pop in the comments because I'm confused. So I did have a decent sharpener to save me using the electric one tonight. Look, why has no one volunteered to come and live with me yet and just organise my entire life? I'm still waiting on volunteers. Where are you all? Found it. Can I use my... You can use whatever pencils you like, my darling. In fact, I would say they're actually quite similar to Caran d'Ache pencils in the softness. They're not as gritty as Derwent. Derwent? Yeah, they're not as gritty as Derwent, but they're almost as soft as Caran d'Ache. So, yeah, they're actually quite familiar. So, I'm going to start off with my 2B, which is where... 2B. See, 2B, 1.5. Don't get it. Okay. I've got a nice posh Faber-Castell mini pencil sharpener. Right, I'm going to try and get you in as close as I can. How's that? That looks pretty good to me. Right, I haven't got my reference picture in front of me, so I'm going to be naughty and I'm going to use it from here, which isn't great because you lose quality, but that's how I'm going to have to work. Although, the pad hasn't gone off for a while. Never mind, just we'll leave it for a minute. Hang on, I'm being a dingus. There we go. No, that's not it. That's it. Zoom in on the eye. I hope you're watching closely, Rob. So we know that we need her eye direction needs to be going like so. That's where she needs to be looking. The camera's not straight. So the whole direction is going up that way. So I'm not even going to do the eyeball at the moment. I'm just going to concentrate on doing the dark areas around, because as most of you know, with graphite, you work from your darkest areas into your lightest areas. Watching this live, watching 22 kids and counting and drinking gin. A few plates up in the air then, my lovely. So let's block in the pupil. And she's got a tiny white speck in the middle. And so we're just going to work on where the darkest areas are. These are nice and smooth for going down, I have to say. They do, as I say, feel a little bit soft, but I really could do with my itty bitty tiny, I think it's that one. I think that's the tiniest one I've got. If you have blenders and you haven't considered doing it yet, that's the tiniest one I've got. It's a right mess. Shape the ends of them, which you can do with a knife. So you just literally shape the end of it. So that's pointed, and I always have one that's fairly flat on the other side. So let me show you that one. You see how I've created this flat surface and then it's pointed at the other end. Oh dear, naughty Wi-Fi. But I've got quite a tiny one here because I like to get in and get some real nice details. So we've got dark, really dark in here. But you'll notice I'm not pressing really hard. I'm not forcing any graphite down. And then I'm just going to do the outside of the iris. I'm not going to do the inside. Just the outside. Hopefully you're going to see how much I end up looking up at my reference. And this is how often, if not more, you should be looking at your reference. If you don't have neck ache, obviously ideally you want yours in front of you, my eyes watering, then you won't get neck ache. But that is how often you should be looking at your reference. The first graphite grading scale is a numeric scale. Using the scale, the hardness of the core is often marked on the pencil. Look for a number. 2. Yeah, I think that's relevant to most, but I've never ever seen half scale, ever. Let me grab right, Mars Lumograph. Come on. Mars Lumograph 2B. Tombow Mono 4B. Caran d'Ache, which you can barely see, 2H. And Faber-Castell F. I've never seen them with 2 sets of numbers. Never seen them with 2 sets. I understand the difference in the scales of the 2H, 2Bs, and they go all the way up to 12. And I know a few of you know this already that have been under my tutorialage for a while. But once you get to 6B, that's when they start adding charcoal into the lead. So it's charcoal and graphite, which is what makes them darker. So yeah, I understand the B, the HB, the B2, B3, blah 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 blah. But I've never seen it where it's 3B and then there's a 1. So that's what's confusing me. So if I just saw that, then that would make complete sense to me. Right, okay. So they have a scale where there's probably just that. That's probably what it is then. Interesting. So 3B is a 1, a 2B is a 1.5. I really need to get some clarification on that. Anywho, now I've got the graphite down, you'll see I've got minimal lines down on my work. I have to say I missed having the live last week. I did the blah 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 making me think of Hotel Transylvania. Yeah, I know, I'm really sorry. It's been a bit of a, yeah, with Emily being off sick and stuff, it's just been a bit. So I'm just going to gently blend out the graphite that I have put down. And we're going to use all the graphite that's been put down to our advantage to shade in. That's actually blending out quite far. Completely lost my lash lines. So what I can then do is, again, on the iris, I can just push in to the middle, avoiding any areas that still need to be in highlight. I'm just going to gently blend into the area of the eyeball itself. And then we've got a nice flat colour. Yeah, she's much better now. She's still pretty bunged up, but yeah, pretty much half the school have been coming down with it. I guess since everybody's been back at school, it's going to be something that's going to happen. I have an inkling feeling that I am going to end up getting it because I haven't been feeling well and I've been feeling really tired the last few days. But I do think that I'm still suffering a bit from when I had COVID with regards to being really tired. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a kneaded eraser. I've made a bit of a point on the end and I'm just going to lightly lift where it needs to be a bit lighter on the eyeball itself, and that instantly creates 3D. Already looks shiny, and that's all I've done. I haven't needed to do much else. I can see that the shine needs to come up a little bit more into this top eyelid, so I'm just going to pull some of that out with my eraser. Better. Okay, I'm going to go back in with my 2B and then I'm going to build up just extra bits of where the shadow could do with being a little bit darker. And then we can start shading in where that iris is. I'm just going to work on the top because that's where the darkest part of her iris is sat at the minute. I'm going to darken up the outer part, and this is where I'm going to start adding a few details in. Now we're working on what I would consider normal scale, but the eye is pretty tiny. Just really observe where you can see little dark areas. Right, I'm going to grab my 4B. It seems America uses the numbers. Right, okay, so it's American and UK at the same time. Hi, Georgina. Yeah, Maddie brought home test kits for her, and we used one of her test kits to see, but she was fine, so I'm glad she's fine, my lovely. So I'm going to go in with the 4B now, just to darken and smooth some of that graphite. And then I'm going to again just blend that. So each time I blend over it, I'm creating a mid-tone. And what I mean by that is, so this is your light tone and then your dark tone. And because I've already pushed out the light tone, now I'm going over the light tone again, it's creating a mid-tone. So it's blending your shadow out into the mid-tone area, which is what you want. Now her shape has been lost slightly here, so I'm just going to bring that back. HB being 2. Ah, see, my B is 2. What's going on? See, B is 2. I've got B is 2. HB, I have got an HB somewhere. Too many pencils. I didn't say that. I said no such thing as too many pencils. 2H, 2H, 2B, 4H, 3B, H, 4B, 2B, HB. HB is 2.5. Two and a half. How confusing. Well, thank you for finding out. I appreciate it. There you have it. I'm just going to keep blending in where I want certain areas to be dark. Blend that iris again. The more you can do without having to use the eraser, the better. Because it's just a pain having to keep coming through with the eraser. It's going to blend across her eye. And then we just need to darken up under here. You notice how I haven't even put the eyelashes in yet? Okay, so that spot is in completely the wrong area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift push from the centre. Just create that light spot in the right place, which is still not in the right place, which is really annoying. You can indent if it's such a tiny mark like that. You can indent if you want. P.S. This is the best of all of the kneaded erasers I have used so far. I was gifted this. It is the blue one. It doesn't say soft or medium or anything. It's really soft, but it's the blue one, and it picks up so well. Like ridiculously well. Okay, so I can round off that, and then we're going to blend that down again. That darkens that top part of the eye. I don't normally go up past a 4B, but I want to try their F out of curiosity. That's quite hard for an F. In fact, that's really hard. I wasn't expecting that, I have to say. Highest I have, I think, is the 4B. Yeah. That is quite... It was definitely softer. So what I was saying earlier, this is my Faber-Castell 9000s. This is why I just absolutely adore them. And this is the Stabilo. You can see how much more graphite goes down, so it's a lot softer. Yeah, F for fan. Because it's not really soft like a 6B or a 4B. Like this is the, I have actually got a whole video going through these, but this is really soft. That's a Tombow Mono. And I don't really use them that often. I tend to like to go in with a black pencil rather than going up the grades too much. It's just personal preference. Horrible shine that way. Let's blend that again, and I want to make that smaller. Okay, so if I zoom out, you're going to get a bit of light shine, I think. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, this makes sense on your blending. I'm not used to graphite. Oh, okay. Are you normally colour pencils? Yeah, B is for black, H is for hard black. So B, black, so black 2, black 3, black 4, black 5, and then H 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or H 2, 3, 4, 5 is hard, H 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I'm really happy with the eye, I think. It does need a bit of darkening around this section. If I lift it slightly and get it away from that light, there you go. So that's what it looks like. Yes, it is, darling. Yeah, it's from Pexel, so it's fine. I'm pretty sure it said on there, just check it. So she's still got no eyelashes, which is intentional. Because there's no point in putting the eyelashes in yet until I've done all the surrounding shading. I think I need to lift a bit of the graphite out underneath here. Just need this to be a tiny touch lighter. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up a bit. I want to show you how I do eyebrows. I'm hoping Rob is okay. I know he said his internet was mucking about. So all I'll do with eyebrows initially is with my 2B is I'll literally just fill in the space as light as you can. You'll notice how far up the pencil my hand is. Fill that space. She needs to be a little bit darker in here, so I'm just going to add a little bit in there. I'm going to use a slightly bigger blending stubby now. I'm just going to blend that all out. Blend in that section in here. You'll notice I'm using whatever graphite is left on my stubby to colour the surrounding areas, to fill the surrounding areas. And this really helps towards giving you a smooth graphite finish. Gary, I don't know if I'm in your pocket or whether you're actually off work today, but if you're going to watch this back later, it's worth you maybe just sort of giving, I don't know if you do it this way, but oh, there you go, you've just popped up, so I assume you can hear me. Oh, okay. So can you see how instantly 3D her face is becoming? Apologies, I'm listening while trying to pyro rigging lines. Oh my god. So when you practice pyro, you've gone for a really complicated design then? Drive yourself mad. Okay, so you've got the soft undertone of the eyebrow, so you've got a solid base for the eyebrow to start working from. First thing I'm going to do is use my eraser, and I'm just going to feather in a little bit some of the areas. Like so. And that gives us our light sort of undershade. I don't really know how to word it, but you know what I mean, hopefully. Again, I'm going to go in with the 2B. And then I can really look at the reference. I can go, right, she's got like a really fine one there. Don't be afraid to bring the eyebrows out. Be a bit messy with some of them. Eyebrows generally grow in more than one direction, and that can be a little bit of a problem when people are learning, because it can alter the shape of the brow. So when you're learning eyebrows, I'll show you on this little bit up here, it will grow from the top down like so, and it will come around to the point where we end up in that direction. Hopefully that makes sense. So these join these, so you end up with that type of shape. So I've just done a few smaller hairs. Right, that's as close, I think, as I can get. You'll see I'm not pressing very hard at all. We've got a few light hairs that come up and around. As you blend, you'll lose some of these hairs, but you can add them in. It's not a problem. So now I'm just going to apply a bit of pressure through some of the areas. I just want the eyebrow to be a little bit darker. Just generally in this section here, above the, or below the arch of the brow, I should say. And then as we come up, don't be afraid to have solid areas. You need to have solid areas. And then we can gently blend over what we've done. And because we've put highlights underneath and we've put a base tone underneath, they're already looking bushy. So again, I'm just going to come along and we're just really lightly. You can see how lightly I'm barely pressing. Just do a little bit more. If you've got grey in the eyebrows, you can use the indenting method. Now, because it's quite a high-end photo, there's a lot of sections of her face that are actually out of focus. Quite a lot of depth of field on here, but we're going to be doing a little high-definition version. So while I'm here, I can see that we need to bring some of that shadow back in. We need to just darken some of that section there a little bit more. Normally, when you're doing a face, the section from the eye here, in fact, it's the same with animals, believe it or not, is normally darker. Generally, depending on where your light is, but most of the time, this bit is darker. And these are sometimes the things that people miss for it to be able to, you know, really look 3D and formed. Going to put a few of the dark finer hairs in down this section. So when I zoom out, her eyebrow looks a lot more natural. It's not quite as arched as hers is in the reference, but I can fiddle with that later on. Because once we come to shade up here, we're going to need to adjust anyway. So, eyelashes. I know this is the bane of many people's lives. And you'll notice I have lost all of mine. So I'm going to pencil them in first with my F. Just so I can pencil in without going too dark. You have to, and I can't stress this enough, you have to look at your reference when it comes to eyelashes. A lot of people don't do this and they end up overlashing the person. So this bit goes right up to the eyebrow. She hasn't even got falsies on, she's just got incredibly gorgeous eyelashes. Exactly that, Dan, exactly. It really does make a big difference if we're not putting in those details that really can affect the shape and form of a face. So the eyelashes pretty much stop, or the length of them stop here. And then we've just got a few smaller ones here. Don't be afraid at this stage, and I'm going to show you on the scrap bit of paper. So this is our eye. That's her eyeball there. That's the highlight. Don't be afraid to come over the white of the eye and create these arches, because that is essentially how they grow. And that helps give you the shadow that generally creates itself, because she hasn't got any of that shadow on there yet. And that will happen as we build that up. So now I've penciled them in, I'm probably going to go straight in with the 4B. We've got some eyelashes which are thicker than others. If there's clumps of mascara on there, don't be afraid to add those. But if we start applying more than what's there, that's where it starts to look unreal, fake. But you can see that this line is naturally getting darker in here. And that's pretty much it for that. I'm going to blend a bit under her eyelid because she does need some more blending under there. It's too light at the moment. And that line could do with being extended. Where did the F go? So your F's and H's are really good at doing all these really fine lines, because you can get fine lines down without accidentally going too dark. Just going to put some little skin shadows in there. Love the way you make it all look so easy. Loving her. Oh, bless you. Thank you, Leslie. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves with expectations and things, and I just think it's unnecessary. If we take away the emotion side of it and we're very matter of fact about it, it makes the whole process just much easier. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom lashes, and again we're going to come up and down. And again, they go in lots of different directions. They're not all neat and perfect. Okay, so this one comes out at an angle, like so. We just got little tiny fine sort of specks. A little bit of shading under here. if I zoom you out, that's her eye so far. Let me change it. There you go. We're looking good so far, I think. I would say the placement is slightly off on my eyelashes, but I'm not going to overly worry about that. As long as they look fairly natural and don't look odd, then I am happy. Wish the image on my tablet was better. Combo of bad internet and poor tablet. Oh no, bless you. I hope it's not too bad. It shouldn't be. I'm doing it at 1080p. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that's the eye. I want to show you about forming the shape of the face, because this is where a lot of things can go wrong. And we don't quite put enough shading in the right areas. So on the reference, what I'll do is I'll upload the line work after this live feed, so it will be on my Facebook page. There's a whole album for line work that you can just download, but since having the pad, the line work has just been so much better. So there's probably some old ones in there I need to retrace, really. Okay, so the side of the head here needs to be a lot darker than what it is. So I'm just going to use my 2B. Hopefully you can see how far up my hand is on this pencil. And I've got it at a nice angle that I'm not using the point, I'm using the side. In fact, I want to show you something. I've been meaning to do a video on it for almost 2 years and I still haven't got around to doing it. I made this from one of my kids' LOL balls. I don't know how many of you will know what that is, but it's a ball that little dolls come in. So this is an LOL ball, and I have drawn what they call a Lomis head on the ball. So you can do this with a tennis ball or anything round. So if you want to learn how shading and shapes and things work on heads, this is a really, really good way of doing it. I will do a tutorial, I promise. I just need to get my arse in gear, basically. So using this ball helps you figure out roughly where shading should be, for example, or how the shape of the head should be. So if I show you very quickly, let's draw a circle, which we all know is the basis of a head. If you haven't heard of Lomis before, it's worth looking it up because there's a lot of useful information with regards to the Lomis method. So this is our ball and this is our head. So we draw our line down the middle and then we draw our line down the middle. Now if we want our head facing directly forward, so straight ahead, you can see that we have a line here and we have a line here. And that's because our heads don't visually shape like this when you're looking. So when we get to here, it goes flat behind us. So we then draw those lines in as well. Like so. This, depending on the shape of the face that you have, you generally bring your chin a little bit lower down. So this is the top of your eyebrow and your eyes are just underneath. Then you split that in half. That's your nose, and then your mouth, and then your chin. You'd be a lot more precise than I am, but that gives you a rough idea. When it comes to your eyes, if you're wondering if your proportions are off, even if you've done a trace down, you should be able to fit technically 3 eyes in that space. So you've got 1 eye, 2 eye, and then you should be able to fit exactly a 3rd eye in between. That's the width that is. So you then, where it is here, you then come down to your chin and up to your chin, and that gives you a bit of a rough idea of how the shape is gained. So if you wanted to say, I don't know, let's have it looking up. So you draw your circle again. Okay, it's looking up. So my line is angled that way and my line is angled that way. And I can see the side of the face. which means my chin would be here. This bit varies, but in between, so you have one third eye and then your next eye, so it's 3 across, so this bit will vary. And then you draw your chin in, and then your face shape is determined because we've got a line going across here as well, so this is effectively where the back of the ear is. And then you would draw your chin up, and then eyebrows, nose because your eyes are here, and then your mouth. So it's a really good, just, yeah, look it up, it's really, really good, but I'll try and do a full video on it at some point. But that helps with knowing that this portion, because the head is up in that direction, that actually this section of the head you can't see, so it needs to be a lot more shaded than the top of the head, so where the peak of the head is. So I'm going to go in and shade all that. This is so much darker than a normal 2B, it's crazy. I want to show you if I can. Let's show you on a 4B actually. So this is a 4B in Faber-Castell. This is a 4B in Stabilo, so you can see the big difference. Okay. So now you've got your base down here, you're then going to blend it all out. Don't press hard, you need to be able to move that graphite around. If you press hard, you're going to push it into the tooth of the paper. And then all I'm going to do is use a larger one and spread the graphite around that's already on my paper. Moaning about it, yeah, I know, I never moan about it, you know, it's just a new thing for me, you know, but you guys have never heard me say it before. Right, so can you see how dark she does look there? Oh, where did I put it? Where did I put it? It's not there. Oh, why is it everything I need I just don't get myself ready for? Anybody would like to magically find my scale finder, you're more than welcome to click your fingers and have it magically appear for me right now. Could be in here actually. Oh, it's not in here. Annoying. I could have sworn it used to be up there. Okay, so there is a thing called a scale finder basically. You'll have to look it up on Amazon, but basically it allows you to check the scale whether you've gone dark enough or not. Honestly, Leslie, it's beyond. It really is. I even sorted all in here out, so everything should still be together, but no, it's not. I told you I need an assistant. Anywho, so just keep blending that out. Get the stubby to do the work for you. Don't clean them too often. The more graphite you have on the stubby, the less pencil you actually have to get down. So use it to your advantage. I know an artist on Instagram who will literally cover the entire canvas or paper in 2B. Then he will use blue tack to lift out all the highlights and work from there. He never does it this way round. He always works in the opposite way and just covers the whole lot. So I'm just going to get my kneaded eraser. I'm going to create shape because she needs a highlight above the eyebrow. Oh, bless you. Yeah, honestly, I'm beyond help sometimes. I think I am really tired. So I'm going to grab a larger piece. And then all I'm going to do is just lift a little bit of that colour. And actually the kneaded eraser is really good to give you skin texture. If you don't have this, use blue tack. And that just softens all that out. Again, I'm going to use my stubby just to blend out as much as I can. I'm going in that direction because I'm really zoomed in, and actually she's got hairlines that you can see in that direction. It's the blue one. I know that's not very helpful, but out of all the ones I have, that's complete and utter rubbish. The blue one is the best one I've used. It doesn't say, there hasn't got like a firmness on it. It's just blue and it's the best one, and it's really soft. Not as soft as the red one, but it is really good. And these are the stupid Winsor & Newton things. I mean, what are you supposed to do with that? It's like a bit of rubber. Very annoying. Anyway, I'm zooming out of my reference. I think I'm zoomed in a bit too close and I'm picking up on details that I don't necessarily need to. So we need to form a bit of a shape over that eye. Like so. They are really rubbish, aren't they? Okay. There we go. Can you see how subtle that pulling out of that colour is to how 3D it makes the eyebrow look? I'm going to leave that as that, and I'm going to come in with my 2B, and I can add some of those finer hairs back now because they ended up getting blended out. Oh, too long on that one. There. While I've got the 2B in my hand, I'm just going to fill out this area because that's where the strongest shadow is. Okay, so if I follow the face down, just going to create the shape, and we need to come out a fair way, but where the cheek is, we need to make sure that that stays light. Again, get my stubby. If you don't have these, kitchen roll is absolutely fine. In fact, kitchen roll is really effective on graphite because of the texture of the kitchen roll. So if you, I've got a bit here, I'll show you. I find cotton pads and buds a little bit too soft. Bye, Joanne. We'll be stopping soon anyway. I'm going to stop at 10. Yeah, they work really, really well. So you can easily blend those out. And it can give you some really nice, soft, smooth blending. Like so. What you don't want to do is blend too far. That actually, I mean, the graphite shine on here isn't too bad at all. There's not much graphite shine happening, which is quite surprising. So with our moles, I'm literally just going to go and put, there was one here, wasn't there? Not her moles, her freckles, I should say. I'm just going to very lightly, need the 2B, not the 4B. So I'm just looking roughly where they are. I'm not worried about them being absolutely precise. And I'm just going to blend it over them all. Like so. So I can see we still need to be a little bit darker down here. Just want to make them a little bit darker, so I'm going to do very lightly again. Make the odd one bigger than the other. What it's going to do is each time you blend it out, you're going to be spreading that graphite around more, so it's going to darken that whole area. So once we've done this, I will then get the kneaded eraser and I will pick out where it needs to be lightened. So we need to come down over the cheek. We just need to lift out some of the secondary graphite that we've put down that doesn't need to be there. Like so. If you don't want to keep going over and repeating this process, if you get yourself maybe a 2H, I would say, where's my 2H? 2B, or not 2B, 2H. You can just very lightly go over some of the freckles, but don't blend them out. If you want to be more precise with your blending, just get one of your mini stubbies and just go over the top of each one instead of going around everywhere. I've got too many in a row happening there, so I just need to sort that out. No, they are different. Let me show you. You might need to put in blue kneadable eraser. I'm going to show you. Right, the pink one is the one I use for pastels. This is the one that I used to use for pencils. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So if I just roll it up, I won't heat it up too much. So you can see as I'm pulling it what it's like. So it's fairly firm, but still pretty soft. So you then go to the red one, which I say is my favourite for pastels, especially doing large sections. It's really, come on. Now focus. Can you see how much it's more stringy? So it tends to, but this is really, really soft. So obviously the more you knead it, the warmer it gets, the softer it gets. So that's the red one, which I think is it's slightly softer than the blue one. So the blue one, again, is a little bit firmer, but it's still quite soft. So you might need to put in blue Faber-Castell kneaded eraser, because they are different. I think they're like ones for pencil, ones for charcoal and pastel, and yeah, I'm pretty sure they have different, but they never say on the package. The code numbers are the same. Barcodes are different. Do you want the barcode? Would that help? Screenshot if you can. That's the barcode. I'll leave it there for a couple of seconds, because I know you can search stuff by barcode, but it's got all the details on the back. These numbers here all seem to be the same. And so you don't have to buy it if you don't want to. You can just use blue tack, but blue tack can be a little bit harsh sometimes. Right, I need to be a little bit more sporadic. Keep putting my pencils down. Right. Get a bit closer as we come up through the nose. So I'm just putting more down there, but we'll end up shading a lot of these out anyway once we come to do the nose. Right, for the last 5 minutes we'll have a bit of a Q&A. So hi Tough Cookie, night. If you've got any questions, throw them at me now. But we will carry on with this next week. No, you can never have enough art and stuff, ever. And if anybody tells you otherwise, they are wrong. Yeah, doing a bit of graphite tonight. Show people how you can do different trace down methods and techniques to get your lines down, to get you started, really. So if it's something you want to join in, you can watch back at any point, and then we'll be carrying on with it next week. And then I am going to pop up my art review hopefully in a few days if I can get the editing done. You gotta love divans for the storage. It's funny though, isn't it? Because you start off with a few pencils and the next thing you know, you have an entire doodle den full of art supplies, which you never intended to even buy. Right, I'm going to tilt it again. Or if I turn... No, that's worse. I'll tilt it again until you can get a better view. So that gives you an idea of more of the contrast, gives you a bit of a better idea of the colour. Yeah, unfortunately the lighting in here isn't particularly great. So it just needs a little bit of softening around here still, but I don't want to lose the highlight. But if there are no questions, we're going to leave it there. And we shall come back to this next week. If you think of any questions, don't hesitate to come and ask in the group. I haven't got any problems at all. If you've got any questions that you just want to come and yeah, ask. Things just jump into my basket completely unaided. They do. They see you coming and they're like, oh, we're going home. And then they'll be like, yeah, I want to go live with her. Right, I don't think there's any questions. And so if you do think of anything, please feel free to come and find me in the group. The link is in the bio. Not the bio, I'm used to saying that. Link is in the description of the video. But if you look up Anita Doodles Art Share on Facebook. I am also now on Clapper. Yes, Clapper, thanks to Gary. I'm not particularly busy on there and I haven't done any live feeds, but it's there. So yes, I shall see you on the other socials and in the group. And yeah, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whichever it is when you're watching. Stay safe and I shall see you in the next live. Bye guys.